The horror show at Extreme Rules took place tonight, and this was a very unique WWE pay-per-view, to say the least. It was something completely different. You had two matches in particular that we really have never seen. These two styles of matches. And that, of course, was the main event in the Eye for an Eye match. My thoughts on the show was, this is such a strange year, 2020. I'm okay with them just doing crazy shit like this for 1 year. Why not just throw all the shit against the wall, let everything hit the fan, and just do stuff that's crazy? Because at the end of the day, it's not... I mean, once things get back to normal, if that happens, they'll go back to the way it was, and there's no point of just duplicating what wrestling would normally be in such a lack of a scale of a show. When you have people in the performance center. What's the performance center? You don't really have any actual wrestling events, so I don't mind them doing stuff completely out of the box just this year. If this continues into 2021 and people come back, hopefully, I would have a problem with it. Anyway, you had a kickoff show. You had Kevin Owens against Buddy Murphy. Didn't pay much attention. I hated the kickoff show. It does not need to be an hour. Only WrestleMania needs an hour. It doesn't even need 2 hours a kickoff show. You don't need Extreme Rules to have an hour kickoff show. All you need is a half hour. Just do a bunch of video package, have a match. That's all you need. Owens won. It was a good match. And pay much attention, to be honest. Show starts off. He had a horror movie style opening. Made it scary. And that's what they were trying to do. It actually worked. You started off with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship being defended in a tables match. And this, of course, is a one-fall table, not an elimination table match. You had the New Day, Big E and Kofi Kingston defending their tag team titles against Shinsuke, Nakamura, and Cesaro. And this was a solid matchup. Good opener. New Day always has good openers. Not one of their better ones. These aren't some of their best tag team matches. This wasn't it. But this was a solid opener. They worked hard. You got some dives. You had a lot of close calls at the table. I think Big E hit a spear on Cesaro on the outside. They missed the table. Nakamura got knocked off the apron by Kofi. He missed the table on like 3 inches. That was actually a cool spot by Nakamura. He had many false finishes that actually thought, oh, what, are they going to end the match here? There was numerous times where it looked like it was going to be over. They teased the finish, and eventually how it ends is Cesaro and Nakamura stacked 2 tables on the outside, 2 tables, and they set up Kofi Kingston on the top rope for a power bomb, and Big E's been knocked out of the ring now, and Nakamura, I think, hits Kofi with a kick, and then Cesaro picks him up, and he basically just power bombs him from the top rope onto the outside, and he just smashes him through 2 tables. Sometimes we see light table spots. This was just like Kofi went boom, boom, like went right through the tables. It was just barbaric. It looked painful. It was a hard spot, one of the best table spots I've seen in a while. Kofi just went right through there. Cesaro and Nakamura emphatically win the new tag team championships. Decisive win, and they kicked the New Day's ass. I loved it. I thought they looked like a really solid team out there, and we have new champs. I thought this was a really good opener. We go backstage and we get Alexa Bliss, and she's wearing her Bliss jacket. With the whole Twisted Bliss thing. And she's with Kairi Sane, and Kairi and Alexa are basically hyping up Asuka and Nikki Cross for their tag team titles, and Alexa is basically talking like a cheerleader, which she did in high school, but that's kind of what she's doing there. They're just cheerleading them. And of course, Nikki goes out for her match with Bayley. So you have Alexa Bliss in Nikki Cross's corner, and of course you have Sasha Banks, who would wrestle later on the show with Bayley. So Sasha Banks, Alexa Bliss on the outside fighting each other. I hear they don't hate each other anymore. Did I mention that? Anyway, but he had the two of them, and he didn't really get involved too much. He basically just stood there for a while. I'd much rather see Sasha versus Alexa than Bayley and Nikki. Those are 2 of my favorites. But I thought Nikki Cross started off kicking Bayley's ass. That's how the match starts off. She's destroying her. Right when they started off, okay, Bayley's going to win. That's how I thought. All right, that's how they usually do that. It was okay. You know, Nikki hit a neck breaker early. It got really fun for a while. It looked like, are they going to go with Nikki Cross? You had Sasha Tease getting involved. There's numerous times where it looked like Bayley was in trouble with some roll-ups. Bayley's a very good worker. I've always said that. Nikki is okay. I just don't take her seriously as the top star. There's just something about her. I just find her character so obnoxious and over the top. She just kind of bores me. But it got really exciting actually near the end. But what happens is we finally get Sasha Banks get involved. We knew this would happen. And she basically has those legit boss brass knucks, and she takes one of them off, and she gives it to Bayley, and the referee doesn't see it, and she gets up on the apron, Alexa gets on the apron, and Corey Graves spoke for me too. He says, well, I was more distracted on Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks on the apron, and that's how I felt too. But that was a cool ending because Bayley has the brass knucks, and she just hits Nikki Cross pretty hard, actually, pretty stiff in the ribs, knocks one at her belly tip. Sorry, she didn't hit the belly tip. She hits her other finisher. I forget I don't know what she calls it, that stomp or whatever. And Bayley gets the pin. She defeats Nikki Cross. Bayley's still champ. It was a heel win. It's one of 2 heel wins later tonight. Of course, we know what happened later. And Bayley retains the SmackDown Women's Championship, and this would set up Sasha's match later with Asuka. Next, we went to the MVP segment. He declared himself the U.S. champ. What happened was Apollo Crews is not able to compete. I don't care. Skip that. I don't care about MVP and Lashley. Eye for an eye match for Rollins and Mysterio, probably the more controversial match. I thought they had a very good wrestling match. I'm thinking to myself, they probably would have just been better. They could have had an awesome Extreme Rules match, but they had to do this stupid fucking stipulation. I thought we were going to get... if they were going to do it, go all the way with the show his eye get gouged. I thought they might have Tom Savini, because I know he works with WWE, the horror film makeup artist. He's done stuff with Dawn of the Dead and Friday the 13th. I thought he might do something with them. No, we didn't get that. It was really good. There was a kendo for the wrestling part. I mean, there was kendo sticks, there was chairs, there was steps, there was a table. They were kicking each other's ass. They were going back and forth. These two can have a great match. It started off with Seth going for the eye really aggressively. Then Rey kicked Seth's ass for the rest of the match, basically raising control. And it looks like this is going to be it. I thought they could have done more creative ways. They had stuff where they brought out tools to use it. The screwdriver, pliers, a kendo stick, wooden parts. Eventually they just used the steps. I thought that was kind of lame because that's what we saw last time. So Seth tries to rip out Rey Mysterio's eye. He eventually gets him there, and he rips out Rey Mysterio's eye, but not actually cut it out. Like, it's still in... It gets knocked out of his eye socket. I would compare it to... remember Vader? He got his eye knocked out by Stan Hansen. That's how it was compared to in Japan. That's how it would compare to. And of course, it wasn't real, of course, but he just puts his eye there, and he's able to rip out Rey Mysterio's eye. Rey gets his eye knocked out. Rey sells it well, but I mean, there would be blood gushing everywhere. His eyeball is not out, but they didn't even, Rey's okay. They did it. They had Charlie Caruso come out later in the show. She gives us an update saying that Rey Mysterio, there's good news if it's not damaged too bad, so it looks like he's going to keep his eye. Hopefully that'd be kind of nice. Yes, you are an eye patch, but I think they're going to write off Rey TV. I think he'll be back. I don't see him leaving, but I think that's how they're just going to write off Rey Mysterio on TV for the time being, because he's on the handshake deal, but I think he'll be back. And of course, Rollins sells it well. They have him vomit. He literally throws up. He wins. It's disgusting. They make Rollins look like a vicious heel. I mean, they'll probably turn him face in a few months anyway. It's a weird company, but Rollins with the win. So next you had the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka against Sasha Banks. I thought this was the best wrestling match of the night. If it wasn't for this horrendous fucking ending that was so fucking bad. It was so fucking... Ugh. I have to say, one of the worst endings on pay-per-view in quite some time. I don't know if it's the worst, but that was a horrible ending. The match was great. I loved it. Sasha Banks is amazing. She looks great. As I've said this numerous times since she's come back, Asuka is one of the best workers in the world, female workers. She's fantastic. Or you can make the case these are the two best workers, along with Io Shirai. Io Shirai would be up there. I think Charlotte should be up there too. But these two are great. And they had a great match, and it would have been a great match. Instead, it's just a good match because of the horrible ending. It's like a really great movie with just the worst ending ever. So they're going back and forth, a lot of roll-ups, a lot of good chain wrestling, a lot of good German suplex. Asuka just kills Sasha Banks. Sasha scares me. She's not as dangerous as she used to be, but she landed hard, and I mean hard, very hard, on the back of her head numerous times in this match. And she took spots here that were pretty hard. There was, I would say compared to the first match with Bayley and Nikki, Alexa and Sasha in the apron, there was a lot less involvement, it seemed like here. You barely even knew Bayley was there, and she was, of course, still tired from the first match. And you don't even know Kairi was there. And hopefully Kairi doesn't leave, but how this went was it got really fun. There were some cool submission attempts. Sasha had her in a bag segment. Asuka had the Asuka lock. It looks like the match is done. Sasha's about to tap. Bayley gets involved. She throws the title belt in the middle of the ring, and she causes chaos. Referee stops Bayley from getting involved. Kairi fights Bayley on the outside, and Bayley bellies on Kairi on the outside, taking out Kairi Sane. And Kairi Sane didn't play much of a role. Bayley gets involved. Referee's mad. He stops it. He grabs the title belt, and Sasha Banks, however, tapped out to the Asuka lock, but then what happens is once the referee recovers, Sasha confronts him, and Asuka hits the referee with the mist. Asuka gets the Asuka lock again. The referee's done, and Bayley comes in. She cracks Asuka in the back of the head with the championship belt. Referee's out. Bayley rips the shirt off the referee. She puts the shirt on. Sasha Banks gets on top of Asuka. Bayley counts a 3. This is it. Bayley counts a 3. 1, 2, 3. Sasha Banks is the women's champion, but I don't believe she's won the match at all. This is an undisputed finish. They're going to turn this over on Raw. This is going to start the feud between Bayley and Sasha. I'm 100% sure this is going to be turned over on Raw. But Sasha Banks wins the Raw Women's Championship, I guess, for tonight. At least, I don't know. But Sasha does win. She celebrates with Bayley. She's the champ. Her music plays, but they never announce it, so it's not official. This was basically, remember when didn't Austin do this? He had Stone Cold Steve Austin in the match at Dude Love. He just counted the 3 by himself, and he got disqualified. So I think Bayley will get Sasha disqualified, and Asuka keeps the belt on Raw. But as of right now, the boss, legit boss, is the Raw Women's Champ. Co-main event was next. And also, once I mentioned, did this thing with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. They had numerous segments with setting up the swamp match. And then you had McIntyre and Ziggler. I didn't care about this. I just couldn't take Dolph Ziggler seriously. I knew there was a 100% chance McIntyre was going to win. It's basically, had to explain, it's an Extreme Rules match for Dolph Ziggler. So Ziggler's allowed to break the rules, but McIntyre cannot. It was okay. I'm just going to skip through it. It was good. It was a good match. I could not take Dolph Ziggler seriously. There's just nothing I can do, and I couldn't get into the match because I just can't take this guy seriously. If this was someone else, I could have liked this match a lot. But I didn't. McIntyre wins. I'm just going to skip over it. So we get to the swamp match, the main event, the finale. Everyone's looking forward to this. And to explain it is very hard. It's basically starts off, Braun arrives, and he sees Bray Wyatt, and this is the old Bray Wyatt, and Braun has to fight old people there, and other Wyatt family members of the cult. To explain it, I would say it's a combination. I'd go back to WrestleMania. I'd say it was a combination of the Boneyard match with Undertaker and AJ Styles and the Bray Wyatt match with John Cena, the Firefly Funhouse. It was a fight with, the segments or whatever, video packages. It would go cut in back and forth. That's how I would explain it. So there was numerous things. The whole thing was similar to how Braun gets in Cena's head. This time Braun gets in Bray's head, and he uses numerous things. First we see old Braun. He hits Braun with a shovel. Braun's tied up in a chair, and Bray talks to him for a few minutes. He uses a snake. They fight more. They beat each other up. Braun starts to get the upper hand. He chokeslams Bray he sees Alexa Bliss. We get more of Alexa. Can't complain about that. And I'd like to see more Alexa because I thought she could have played more of a role. Maybe Bray would kidnap her, and she's she was like a girl in the horror movie. But we see Alexa, and at first I thought for sure that was going to be Sister Abigail, but it's Alexa, and then that was Braun playing with Bray again. Braun makes a mistake. He fights with him, but Braun hits a chokeslam. Bray leaves on a canoe. Bray comes back. Him and Braun fight. Braun, I think he takes him under the water now. He tries to drown him with an alligator. There's no alligator. We got a snake and not an alligator or a crocodile. They fight again. This time, Braun thinks he's won again. Braun has gotten the better of Bray. Bray's done, but Braun, just like the original Friday the 13th, Bray jumps out of the water. They show the Extreme Rules thing, the banner to make you think it's over. Bray jumps out of the water and takes him under, and Bray kills Braun. Blood shoots up through the water. It's covered in blood, and we see the Fiend laughing as Bray Wyatt presumably won the swamp match.